If you were to invent a torture device, especially in the medieval or Tudor period, then you would hope for it to be a device that would inflict a particular type of cruelty and pain upon its victims. Now that is exactly what William Skeffington achieved when he designed the Scavenger's Daughter, or the Skeffington's Gyves as it was also known. This particular device, logged with others such as the rack and the tiny oubliette-style dungeon known as Little Ease, was a torture method which shows the extreme cruelty and the brutality of the era, and the methods that the authorities would go to cause pain or extract information from prisoners. Now, this awful device was made mostly from a metal frame with a hoop and central hinges, and within the hoops were various spikes, and a person would be contorted into a position in the device, and the hinges would then be tightened, and the victim would be held into a compact, tight position. Now, by being in this position, the spikes would then penetrate at the various points and dig into the flesh of the victim, and this would inflict excruciating pain and suffering. The unnatural position one would be forced into would cause excruciating muscle cramps, intense discomfort, and then a suffocating feeling where breathing would become very difficult. This barbaric method of torture, as I have said, was not only used to inflict pain on prisoners, but also as a way to extract information or to coerce or intimidate, and it had a lasting impact on anyone who survived, with both physical and psychological trauma. Now, you may ask, was this device real? There are some torture methods that are pure fiction, but I can assure you that this one was very real. It even has proven accounts of its use, and these are truly horrid. Out of the sum of these accounts are the following two. The first account is an instance where Thomas Meyer was subjected to being placed upon the device. You see, he had been accused of linking up with Irish rebels across the sea during the reign of King Henry VIII, and because he had been linked to rebellion, he was placed on the Scavenger's Daughter to extract information. He afterwards spoke of his ordeal. He denied the charges, but spoke of this horrific ordeal on the wall of his cell in the Beauchamp Tower, at the Tower of London, as within this cell you can find his carvings of, "By torture strain my truth was tried, yet of my liberty denied." And he then signed off with his name. The second account is for a man called Thomas Cottam. You see, Cottam was a priest in England who was Catholic, and he lived during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, where he would then later be executed. You see, Elizabeth tried to solve the problems of religion in her country by a thing called the religious settlement, but even within this, Catholics would continue to be persecuted within her lands. Cottam was linked to underground worship, and for this he was placed upon the rack to obtain any information. But because he had not spoke up enough, he was then placed within the confines of the Scavenger's Daughter, a truly horrific method of information extraction. It's thought that he was placed in the contortion device as he didn't give up much information, and it is also believed that a second priest, known as Luke Kirby, was then also placed within the Scavenger's Daughter. Now, the torture device may not have been widely used, but there are historical records, illustrations, writings, and personal accounts that prove its existence and its use. Another historical account is for a chap called Edward Arden. Now, Arden is thought to have been a nobleman and a distant relative of Elizabeth I, and it's thought that he became tied up in a plot that sought to dethrone the Queen, Elizabeth I, and then replace her with her Catholic cousin, Mary, Queen of Scots. In 1583, Arden was then arrested and accused of treason. He was then subjected to torture devices, and it's believed that one of these was the Scavenger's daughter, and with this it was hoped to extract information and a confession to the conspiracy. The details are not well documented, but the end result is Arden was ultimately found guilty of treason and then executed by hanging in the December of 1583. So, the Scavenger's daughter was used mostly during the 1500s as a form of torture and as a way to extract information, and frankly, it may not have mattered if the information was the truth, as long as it worked in favour of those who were in charge. Thank you for watching, and to support, please subscribe to That's Grim. Thank you.